Hi, I'm Ben. I'm the creative director and founder of Noble Agency. Noble is a specialist employer brand, EDP, and grad marketing agency. This is what we do. We specialize in it, and we wanted to take you through a case study, as we know you guys are all interested in, attracting the best candidates to your grad programs. And we won 2 awards last year, and we thought it'd be great to run you through a case study to see the thinking that we bring to our projects. To make sure that everything is successful when you're going out and putting your best foot forward and telling your story. So this is for IMC. IMC are a trading firm. They're a proprietary trading firm. So that basically means they trade with their own funds. Therefore, they have no customers, no products, and very little brand recognition. And we're up against the big players like Google, Facebook, Atlassian, for the top STEM talent coming out of universities across the world, in fact. But this piece of work was focused on Australia. The brief to us was we wanted cut through in a crowded marketplace. We all know what the careers fairs are like. You're kind of at one now with STEM women, if you're watching this from that leaflet. And cut through is one of our briefs. The other one was, how can we compete against the mega brands like Google, Facebook to find the brightest talent? And how can we create a campaign that will resonate with our audience behavioral drivers? So this is more than us just coming up with something that looks nice. This is actually coming up with something that will play to the passion points of our audiences. We conducted focus groups across Amsterdam, Chicago, and Sydney, and we found a few key things. We found that our target STEM student audience are innately curious. They love to learn stuff. They love to take things apart, really understand things, how they work, and then before them put them back together, hopefully better than they were when they started. We know that that IMC people, from talking to them, and the target STEM students, crave knowledge. Everything is about learning and continuing. When you finish university, the learning really just starts when you go into a career, into a role. We knew that other big tech firms can be slow to develop, where you may work for a big tech firm, you may be coding for a project or building something, which might get shelved after a year and not even see the light of day. And we discovered that IMC is a very fast feedback loop. You'd work closely as a technologist, you'd work closely with a trader, and whatever you're thinking of today and building is actually put on the markets the next day, and you can see this really fast feedback loop happening. And we also know that IMC, then their audience absolutely loved a complex challenge. So these were our insights that we could take into the brief. These were the things that we needed to get across in our creative. We came up with the campaign line, start discovering. And this played to the curiosity of our audience. If you ask someone who's innately curious, start discovering, the next question they'll have is start discovering what? And that was exactly what we wanted. We wanted to draw our audience in to come and find out more about IMC and the brand, this company that you'd never probably heard of, but does really exciting work in the space of finance and technology. So start discovering was our campaign line. Then we had to look at, what's an art direction that we could come up with this? How can we visually start to stand out in the market? And we came up with this Willy Wonka-esque kind of virtual look inside. What does a trading firm look like? We wanted that cut through, if you remember from the brief. We wanted something to look very different. And so we came up with this hyper-real environment, these cubes, almost like the behind the scenes of what goes on in this fictitious trading firm. Because of the nature of our audience as well, STEM students, we know they like logical communications. We know they like it quite to the point. So we went and led with the key things were that you could discover trading or technology careers. And then the other things that you could discover were actually the value pillars from the graduate value proposition, the sense that you can get fast impact, that what you do today is in market tomorrow. Continuous learning, every day is like solving complex challenges, and that there's an incredibly open culture. So those are the key things that we wanted to communicate. So we put them front and center. So that was the kind of key visual. This piece of work was then rolled out across everything. So we had things like the careers stand, social media posts. As you can see, those cues were really easy for us to take out and just post about trading or just post about complex challenges. So we're creating something that's super usable and super adaptable as well. So for other needs beyond, just a careers fair. Once we had that solid platform, we were able to then react to a number of different challenges that came up. One of them was to explain what types of trading were available at IMC. And so we did this we created a little video, a little explainer, and we did it in the style of a 1980s kind of 8-bit gaming, because we knew that a large proportion of our audience and employees are gamers or interested in gaming. And so we played to that. So we created something that was visually exciting or visually interesting or kitsch, that they could actually watch through and have great engagement with. So that was one of the pieces that hung off that line of start discovering. The next page, we have the IMC Vault. All these things hung off the idea once we had a creative platform for start discovering. One of the challenges was during lockdowns was also, how do we get people to click on our virtual stand when no one really knows our brand? So going back to the research, going back to the psychology behind what do these people love doing? They love solving challenges. They love cracking codes. And so we played to that. We created a locked website. We'd already created a 360 walk around the office, which you can see bottom left there, which is actually literally like walking around in a Google Street view inside the office, where you could click on people and watch videos and those sorts of things. So what we did, we already had that 360 walk around. So we actually reused that, and we put the code to get into the vault on the wall. So we retouched that as into the images. So our users came to the vault. They're instructed to go and take a 360 tour. So we've already exposed them now to our brand. We've showed them what the inside of our office is. We've also played with them around this whole kind of go and figure it out. And we're actually feeding on that sense of wanting to know how something works, wanting to solve that problem, that challenge, that game. It's gamifying an experience, essentially. So once they come back to the site, they'll enter the code. They get instant gratification. They get a free piece of merch. We get their details. So there's been an exchange. You get something, we get your details so we can market to you at a later date. And then we start throwing down the carrots again of, if you think that was tough, try one of the challenges that is the sort of things that you'd be doing in your day-to-day at work. And then basically we did that and repeated. So we went through this process of take part in a complex challenge that was timed. And once you complete it, that time was logged in the back end of the site, and you'd be played a video by one of the IMC employees telling you about an aspect of working there. And then we'd offer you another challenge. And we just did this about 3 or 4 times so that we got across our 4 pillars from the proposition. People are also exposed to the type of mathematical challenges that they'd have to solve in the day-to-day. And we're actually creating a funnel and narrowing down to people that are really interested in a career with us. I think the final piece of the puzzle, the big prize, was to win a trip to Amsterdam. And to get the code to enter that, you had to attend the careers fair. You had to attend the virtual careers fair and ask for it. And really, only people that have gone through the whole process and can actually be bothered to have a career conversation are actually going to turn up and do that. So we did create this amazing funnel, which created a bunch of candidates who are highly interested. They've experienced the brand. They've had about 8 or 9 touch points with the brand along this journey. So when they do come to virtual careers fairs and see that name, they know the name of IMC and what it represents and the types of experiences that they'll get within that business. And that was the piece of work that won Best Innovation in Graduate Marketing. Yes, Graduate Marketing. And then the rest of the campaign is kind of the kind of stuff that you need to do, you should be doing anyway. So social media is coming up with telling that story, is showing people and showing life at IMC. Blog writing on behalf for them as well. We would typically interview one of their employees and we'd write it and then work with the employee around whether they're happy with it, does it sound like them, and get it out into market as well. So there was a whole big ecosystem of digital, print, types of communications where we were covering everything and every base with all the messages that we wanted to get across. And some of the results there speak for themselves. The cost to hire was down 66%. From the campaign, we helped them recruit all of their roles in the fastest time ever. We hit the campaign target within 3 weeks. And we raised brand awareness, which is an interesting one, by 20%. So that by the time brand awareness, raising it by 20% is quite a big deal, because if you have no brand recognition and now you've gone from 50 to 70%, that means that when someone sees your comms out there, they're going to know who you are, what you stand for, and also start advocating for you as well if they like your brand. That's a very quick whistle-stop tour of how we created a piece of award-winning work for IMC. Thanks for watching.